It's currently week 13 of the renovation and we've actually just booked the plastering in for 12 days. We're getting the whole of downstairs plastered, meaning that you have to hurry up, get a move on and get the whole of downstairs ready to be plastered. Let me take you on a little updated tour and I'll show you everything that we need to get done, and then we will carry on with the weekly vlog and you can see what I get up to this week. So for the plastering, do you see this? This is called bonding. This is where the electrician had to chase out and we've had to bond it back in. I need to finish the top of it, but basically it just means that to get the downstairs ready for plastering, we need to fill in all of those holes, make sure that all the walls are kind of smooth, remove all of the last remaining bits of wallpaper. We've plasterboarded all of the ceilings already. We built that fake wall. In the kitchen, we've plasterboarded that back wall as well. So pretty much everywhere is ready. We've just got a few little things, like we still need to strip wallpaper in the pantry room. There's one wall in the kitchen that has got some wallpaper stuck on. And then it's little things like this. Do you see? At the very start of the renovation, we spent weeks and weeks stripping wallpaper, but in some areas where we've not really done it that well and we've kind of left patches, the guy cannot plaster over that, so we're gonna have to remove all of that. You'll have seen me, if you follow me on TikTok, you'll know that I was really struggling to remove the wallpaper, specifically on the downstairs landing bit. Where it's green, it's all been stripped, but it was so difficult because basically our first wallpaper steamer that cost £35, we accidentally left it running with no water in and it burnt the coil. The second wallpaper steamer that we got for £35, I thought was broken. I thought it was the broken one, so I put it in the skip and then piled everything in the skip on top of it, so it's now crushed, only to then later find out that I put the working one in the skip, kept the broken one. Like, how stupid can someone be? So we were left with no wallpaper steamer. I was using a bucket of water. Someone said sugar soap, so then I started mixing together sugar and soap, but apparently that's not what it means. Like, it's an actual product that you buy in like a yellow bottle. But yeah, anyway, what I was gonna say, we have now got a wallpaper steamer. We found someone selling one on Facebook Marketplace, so it's second hand, but we just thought this is gonna be so much quicker. We've got to strip that cupboard, and this is the wall that I was on about that needs stripping, although that bit down there, this bit is like, it isn't wallpaper, it's like lino or something and it won't come off. Everything is pretty much ready to be plastered. We're only getting the downstairs plastered at the minute because the upstairs isn't quite ready. We've got a few things that we need to do upstairs that we haven't got round to, but we thought we'd rather get the downstairs plastered so then at least things are progressing. Look how good that is. We had to bond all of that in because there was like a massive hole. I would say we did a good job. Plastering will definitely be the most exciting step in the renovation because that's when things really start to take shape. We can start thinking about skirting boards and like the finishing details of painting, adding the doors on. I feel like getting it plastered will just make everywhere look so fresh. Oh, and by the way, we're getting new windows in a few weeks as well. It was a little bit of a wait. I think there was a 3-week wait. We ideally wanted to get the windows put in before we plastered, but what we're gonna have to do is we'll get everywhere plastered minus the window reveals, which are these bits of wall there that like connect onto the window. Because there's such a long wait time on windows, we didn't want to have to wait until after the windows have been fitted to do the plastering because we just want to get on with things. We've just gone for plain white windows, by the way. We were quoted a few quotes, but in the end we went with the cheapest, which was 1.7k for 4 windows. I'm hoping it isn't too good to be true because I know a lot of people on my TikTok were commenting saying never go with the cheaper option, it's going to do a really bad job. I guess that's a good thing about doing social media while renovating, because any tradesmen that I get in, they obviously know that I do social media and know that if they do a bad job or like, yeah, if they do a really bad job or do something wrong and are just lazy with it, like obviously I'm gonna put them on social media and they're not gonna get a good rep. Whereas if they do a really good job, I'm more likely to come on and promote them. Unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to the stained glass. Honestly, guys, I would keep it, but it's not even that old. Like, it's from the 2000s, so it isn't like it's vintage glass. I also wanted to know, just above the window, there's like, I don't know if it's rust. Wait, I'm going to turn the camera around actually. Is this rust or is it mold? Because I'm kind of worried now that it's actually damp. Day one of getting the whole of downstairs prepped and ready for the plasterer to come in and plaster it. Obviously, when we first got the keys, we had the full rewire done, which cost us £2,000. And unfortunately, when the electrician had to get into some of the wires to replace them, take them out, do new sockets, he had to create holes in the wall. It's just one of those things. It was a mess. It was kind of annoying, but we wanted to save some money and learn a new skill and fix it ourselves. To do this, we needed bonding plaster, water, PVA, and a hawk and trowel and all of the tools and buckets. This isn't advice. I'm not trying to give tips because I literally watched one YouTube video, ran with it, and just taught myself how to do it. What I'm doing probably isn't 100% correct, but I would just put the PVA on the wall, leave it for 5 minutes to go tack it, and then I would go in with the bonding plaster and just smooth it out. I know that when I uploaded this to TikTok, people were freaking out because I was doing it over bare wires and I didn't use any casing. Maybe it's different in different countries, but in the UK, you don't have to, like, it isn't legal requirements to do that, and it is deemed as safe to just do it straight over wires, especially if you are going to be getting one of the newer fuse boxes, which we are when we get the second fix of the electrics done. Who knows if it actually saved us money? It might not have, but I guess we've learnt a new skill in doing it anyway, and it low-key was kind of fun to do. We had so many of these holes, so I would say it took us nearly a full month to do downstairs and upstairs and just fill things in. Please, any tips or advice is appreciated. I won't take it as hate. If you've seen something and you're thinking, what the hell is she doing? Let me know so I can change it for the future and do things properly in the future. We paid only £2,000 for the full rewire, which I know a lot of people said is a crazy price, but it was a friend of a friend that did it. It's someone that my boyfriend knows. So I'm going to assume that he was doing us a favour, which is a really kind thing to do, and he's coming back in a few weeks to do the second fix, so put the light switches on the sockets and all of that. I think the main annoying thing about doing all of the bonding was the cleaning and the water situation, because we have no running water or sink. Well, we have running water but not a sink. I had to constantly get it out of the pipe in the kitchen, but then it was splashing all over our brand new plasterboard, so I was worried we were going to get damp and create and that the plasterboard would need replacing again after we've just paid for it. Because FYI, plasterboard is not cheap. It's like over £100 to get over 200. Can you believe that I've been stripping this wall for about a week? A full entire week. I'm debating now whether we should have just plasterboarded over it. I gave myself the challenge of how quick can we strip 4 layers of wallpaper. This is gonna take forever, but I've started it now, so I might as well finish it. I've only got 2 more layers to take off. So my method for removing the wallpaper, because we broke both of the wallpaper steamers, the wallpaper steamer would have been so much quicker, but my method instead is a bucket full of water, a paintbrush, and basically, because they're only thin layers, I'm just soaking the wallpaper in the water, leaving it for 5 minutes, and then going in with a scraper. Too bad. In 15 minutes I did that in 20 minutes. The ceiling's the hardest bit to get off because you can kind of see all the glue on the top. That bit was really easy to come off. That took like 10 minutes. 4 hours later, and this is all that we've managed to get done. Obviously I did mention that we had 2 wallpaper strippers, but one of them broke and then another I accidentally put in the skip. It's taking too long when I could be doing other things. That is I think we're on day 2 of the weekly vlog. It could be day 3, it could be day 5. I don't know how long I've been doing this. We're now on day 4 of prepping the entire of downstairs to get ready for the plasterer to come in and plaster the whole of downstairs. I'm cutting out plasterboard to go on the back kitchen door. At some point we are going to be removing the door out of the door frame and completely redoing it and having a brand new door. But for now, because we couldn't really be bothered stripping the wallpaper and the wall wasn't in that good of a condition underneath, sorry I can't speak, we're just cutting out plasterboard, we're dotting and dabbing it to the wall, so we just have a fresh base to plaster from. Because let me know if I'm right, but I'm pretty sure a plasterer would much rather plaster over fresh plasterboard than kind of old walls. So I was just measuring it out, cutting it to size, and then when my partner came round we both dot and dabbed it because it would have been way heavy for me to just try and do it by myself, and then we stuck it to the wall. I've had a few quotes for plastering. Just to remind you, we're getting the kitchen, the dining room and the living room done. I wouldn't say they're like massive spaces, but they're also, I mean the kitchen is quite small, but I would say the living room is just the standard size. One person has quoted us over £5,000, but then another person only quoted us 2,000. But I think we're going to go with this guy that we found on Facebook, because basically I'd put a post on a few weeks ago saying, does anyone want to do our plastering? And there was a guy that popped up in the comments, in my messages, saying that he would do it and he's going to charge us £650, but we have to supply the materials. So in total that will probably come to about £950 to get the whole of downstairs plastered, which I personally think is an amazing price. I've spoken to some people that paid like £300 for just one wall or £300 for one ceiling. You know what you think about that price? Is £950 in total to get the whole of downstairs plastered too good to be true, or should we take the risk and just go with the guy? He does seem like a nice guy, and it's the same guy that came round to help us do all of the plasterboarding in the kitchen and do all of the ceilings, so maybe we should just give him a chance. Anyway, I'm gonna let you just watch us dot and dab and stick this plasterboard to the bit that I was cutting out. I was doing this for literally days and it just kept going so wrong. You can either watch or you can skip to the next bit, but I'm just gonna play some music. I think 5 or 6 of the renovation, or we could be on day 7 and we're just carrying on bonding in. I know that things in my video seem so repetitive and so boring, but that is genuinely just the reality of it, and I want to vlog and document everything, even the boring days, even the little tiny tasks that you wouldn't think you need to do but then you end up having to do. Luckily today it was just a little bit. It's because previously we didn't have ladders. Well, we had ladders but someone else was using them and I needed to bond in the very tops, so I just put fresh PVA on, let it go tacky, and then I just bonded and plastered the rest of that to fill in the gap, ready for the plasterers to come around and plaster over the top of that. Again, I'll just leave you to watch this. If you want to watch it, I'll put some music. If you don't, then you can fast forward and skip to the next day or the next bit. What I'm doing here because I'm not 100% sure. I was basically bonding in with the extra bonding that I had left, just the gaps in the plasterboard, which shouldn't have really been something that we would have had to do, but when we were cutting out the plasterboard we cut it the wrong size and there were gaps at the top and the side, so I just thought it would probably be better if I filled those in and easier for the plasterer. First stop of the day, I have to go and find somewhere that sells a Stanley knife. I was going to go to Tool Station or Screwfix, but I'm pretty sure you need an account. I can't be bothered faffing around setting up an account, so I'm going to try the Range. If not the Range, then I'll go to B&Q, and if not, I'm sure B&Q will have one, but if not B&Q, then apparently Wilko has some. Maybe I'll try the Range and Wilko first and then go to B&Q. I might be completely wrong, but it's just because I know that my partner goes to Screwfix and Screwfix and Tool Station all of the time, and he's got an account and like he's set up with them, whereas I don't have an account, so I'm not sure if I could just walk in and like get a Stanley knife. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe I should just try and see what they say. I got one from the Range. They had green, yellow or red. I got red. A new tape measure. Oh yeah, so update, like I was saying, we were going to take the door frame out eventually. I forgot to film it, but we took the door frame out, and let me tell you, this was so difficult. It took us forever. It was like a two-man job. We could not get it out. Obviously, where it leads into the utility, I had to plasterboard around the bricks and around the wall so that it would be ready to plaster and then get the new door frame put in. So that is what I'm doing there. I'm just measuring and then I'm going to cut out the plasterboard and dot and dab it again. However, this went so unbelievably wrong. Bricks started falling off because this wall used to be an external wall and then it had the extension built on. I do not know what the previous owners of this house had done with the extension, but it was such a bad DIY job and bricks were just falling. So I really did the wrong thing and I started sticking the bricks back with the what is it called? I've forgotten what it's called. The dot and dab. I started sticking the bricks back to the wall with the dot and dab, which I should have been using cement, I know. So God, I've just added to the problem that was already kind of a scary problem. But we will go back and fix that at a later date. I don't know. Yesterday went so bad. Yesterday was literally a disaster. I didn't really film much because I was panicking, but basically we'd ripped the internal door out and then I was going to plasterboard over it to get it ready for plastering, which is happening in just a few days and we're nowhere near ready. And anyway, I spent hours and hours doing it, and I think because my foot is hurting because I cut my foot open, I just wasn't thinking straight. And anyway, once I'd finished it all, I looked at it and I was like, what in the fuck, like this is so wonky. So we had to rip it all off. We had to rip it off and we're gonna have to start again. So I'm gonna have to spend another, what, like 6 hours redoing the entire thing. It's fine, it's a sunny day, we got this. And we're also having, you can't see it, I don't want to show you the outside of my house, the front of my house. We're having the skip collected today. I'm just waiting for him to come around. I'll have to move because I'm in the way. But yeah, we've had the skip for 4 weeks. Do you know, like most places when you go to hire a skip, they charge you per kind of how long you need the skip for? This company didn't. It was just £160 for like however long we needed it. Morning guys, I feel like this whole week is just a complete disaster. I made that video yesterday saying we're getting a new skip. It's being delivered this morning and we kept ringing him asking when is it going to come, because what we needed to do relied on the skip coming, because we needed to basically clear the house out and get everything gone. And anyway, he said it was coming in the morning, so I went round 8:30 being the morning thinking, oh, it will come like before 12. Did it come before 12? No, it didn't. And we kept ringing him and he kept saying we'll be soon, like we're next on his list. Anyway, it got to like 3 p.m. and he still hadn't been, so I just ended up going home and I was like, look, I don't even care if it comes or not. Finally at 5 p.m, after saying he was going to deliver it in the morning, he finally delivered the skip. So yeah, we're gonna restart yesterday and we're gonna go around today and I'm gonna do everything that I said I wanted to do yesterday today. I find tradesmen so unreliable. It's literally like ridiculous. They'll give you a time and they'll just never turn up. It's actually soul destroying sometimes, because I've waited in for people on a weekend and like driven all that way to meet them and they just don't turn up and they don't let me know that they're not going to turn up, and it's just soul destroying. But anyway, looking on the bright side, at least we've got the skip, at least it's now finally been delivered, and yeah, we can just get on with the shit today. For breakfast I've got some milk. This is like the most random breakfast ever, but I've got milk and cookies. Hey, the skip finally came, thank god, although it was a day late, and which meant I couldn't do what I needed to do yesterday, but it's fine, we did it today instead. It's been so hot recently. I feel like it's the start of summer, but I've been coming to the house and just dripping in sweat. The renovation in February and that was like pretty much winter, it was quite cold, and I thought that I would prefer renovating in summer because it would be hot and good vibes. Oh no, I was so wrong, because it's just way too hot. I'm coming to the house and I'm just dripping in sweat and needing to go home and catch a shower. I was just having a massive clean up, tidying up, putting everything in the skip, and already after a few hours the skip was nearly halfway full. I had all of these doors that I had to put in as well, and in hindsight I should have stacked them against the skip to kind of make the level of the skip higher so I could fit more in the skip. But for some weird reason I didn't do that and I just ended up taking so much space up with these doors. Today is finally the day that the plastering is starting. However, we had a bit of an issue, we had a bit of a mix-up which I went over on my TikTok, but basically the plasterer had double booked us, so he was supposed to be starting today but he can't, so he's going to start in the evening instead. Some of you might not be from my TikTok, so I'll just re-explain. We're paying £650 in labour, that's how much he's asked for, and we've provided all of the materials which cost about £300, so in total it's going to cost just under 1k to plaster the whole of downstairs, which is 3 rooms, and that doesn't include the utility and it doesn't include the landing, and it doesn't include the landing. So I would say, like, it doesn't sound like a price that's too good to be true. Yeah, it's very reasonable. It works out just over £200 per room, which is insanely cheap, don't get me wrong, but it isn't like we haven't used this guy before. It's not like we don't know him, but we've used him before and he was really good. He did all of our plasterboarding in the kitchen for only £200, and he did just seem like a really nice guy. And yeah, he seems really happy to do the plastering, even though he accidentally double booked us, but it's fine. We're not in any kind of major rush. I just kind of booked it in because I wanted to see it done before my birthday, which is on Sunday. But to be honest, it should be done before then. He said it shouldn't take more than a few days. How exciting is that? Let's just have one last look at the house and see what it looks like currently now. This is currently what the house is looking like pre-plastering, and a little tour of the house in case you guys don't know the layout or haven't really seen downstairs yet. This is the room that's going to be the front room, the living room, the lounge, and yeah, we're just basically getting every single wall plastered. On the back wall we're going to have the couch, on the wall opposite we're going to have the TV. The only thing that we aren't going to be doing straight away is getting the window reveals done, because we're still waiting on getting the new windows fitted. We wouldn't want to get the windows fitted after the plastering, because then that could like ruin the plaster, crack the plaster. Moving on into the kitchen, which is a very dark room. I'm hoping that once we've painted it, it will seem a lot brighter, because we've already had that entire wall knocked down and widened to let more light in. This little room is going to be the pantry eventually, so we're going to get that fully plastered, and then we're going to have some shelves in there eventually. And we got the electrician to put a light in there because there wasn't a light in there previously. This room that I'm showing you is a utility, but we're not doing that right now. That's like a summer project. That's the bit that used to be external, but then they did like a DIY project to make it an extension. Not sure it's 100% legal. And then this is the dining room. I mean, the walls look in a really bad state, like they look in such bad condition, so I'm hoping that the plasterer can just work his magic and do whatever he can with them and just make it at least semi-smooth. Hopefully in the next YouTube video I can show you it plastered and we can start doing some more of the fun stuff, like putting the kitchen in, choosing the flooring, painting, putting the radiators on, having the second fix of the electrics. I feel like plastering is such a huge milestone, and the fact that we're already there downstairs within 3 months is insane. So I'm really excited for this, but yeah, let's just take one last look at the house, what it currently looks like, and then come back for the next video and I'll show you what it looks like plastered. This is a full plastering update. Obviously people were very sceptical that we were paying only £650 to get the entire of downstairs plastered, and when I say the entire downstairs I mean this, which is the dining room. We've also got in here, which is the kitchen. I'll put side by side, so the doorway used to look like this and now it looks like this. How crazy is that? Even though we got that widened up, it is still like a very dark room, but yeah. So we got the dining room done, the kitchen done in there, and then, oh, also the ceilings. You can see the patches where it started to dry, it's kind of gone like a pale white colour. And then also in the front room, which is the living room, we got everywhere plastered in here. Everywhere's looking a lot darker, like obviously pre-plastering the walls were kind of white, whereas now they're all brown. I'm not really sure what colour I expected plaster to be, but I didn't expect it to be this dark. I mean, it's kind of making everywhere look a little bit darker and a little bit smaller at the minute, but I know that that's just because it's dark. When the plaster starts drying, it will you can kind of see the patches where it started drying already. It will dry to be that light colour. Then we can do a mist coat, I think, which is water, so then the plaster doesn't crack, and then we can paint over it. I'm going to start by painting all of the walls white, just so we have a completely blank canvas and we can decide where we want to go from there. But to be honest, I'm thinking that I might just keep the walls white all over the house. Would it get dirty really quickly? I don't know, we'll find out. He's left all of his tools. He's going to come and pick them up tomorrow because I don't think he drives actually. I think he got dropped off, but then he couldn't get picked back up. So he's left his tools. He's going to come pick them up tomorrow. But honestly, guys, for £650, like, this is amazing. Obviously, only time will tell and once it's dried, but some of it started drying already and it literally looks fine. I know people were really skeptical about us getting this plastering done for so cheap, and especially since it was a random guy that we found on Facebook. It was the same guy that did all of our plasterboarding for us, and he only charged £100 a day, like labour charge. So I think this guy he's just looking for the work, and he had someone round helping him for the entire of downstairs, obviously minus the utility, because this is an extension anyway. We haven't done the utility because it's not ready to be done. Like, there's so much that needs to be done to the utility. But how amazing is it looking already? I'm going to turn you around on the back camera so you can like have a proper look. Like I said, things are looking a lot. My boyfriend sat outside in the car waiting. I said, does anyone else that does content creation get like so nervous? He'll be in the house and I'll want to film a video and I'll say, are you okay to just go and sit outside? Like, even though we've been together 6 years, I literally got so embarrassed of filming in front of him. I just can't wait to get the kitchen in. Those are the next steps really. Get the kitchen in, get the second fix of the electrics done, get the radiators on the walls, get the upstairs ready and prepped to be plastered. Then we can put the bathroom in, and we're getting the new windows fitted next week, which I was going to mention, by the way, I've forgotten. So basically, he's plastered, well, we don't want to touch it in case it's wet. He's plastered all of the walls, but then not the window reveals. He's left these in like the windowsills, just because we're getting the windows replaced next week anyway. And we were thinking that ripping the windows out might have damaged the plaster a little bit. So instead of doing the plaster and then putting the windows in on the reveals anyway, we're going to put the windows in, and then he's going to come back and replaster around the edges, just so then it's not ruining like any work that he's done. And also, if you see any holes in the walls, these are just where plug sockets or light switches are going to go. Our electrician is going to deal with that. Yeah, if you see the things around the door, that's okay, because you have the architrave that is going to cover that, so that bit, like, it doesn't need to be plastered, so don't be alarmed by that. Let me quickly turn my camera around and take you on a quick tour around the whole of the freshly plastered downstairs. Oh, I just can't believe how amazing it's looking. Like, this is making me really excited to get on to the next steps now. I feel like prior to this, I don't have bogies by the way, I just haven't waxed my nose. I feel like prior to this I was getting really disheartened because things were not moving along, whereas now we finally had like a big step of the renovation done. It just feels like things are coming together really quickly. Like, we've got the the windows booked in next week. We've had the plastering downstairs done. Things are just looking good. Like I'm getting excited now. I was kind of just getting depressed about the whole situation and honestly regretting buying a house, but yeah, things are coming together now. So starting in the front room, obviously everywhere looks a lot smaller and a lot darker just because the plastic is so dark. When we've painted it white and the light is reflecting, it's going to look a lot bigger. I'll put a little before picture because I took videos and pictures of how the house looked like before. This is the before and this is the after. I'm literally obsessed, and the plastic is so smooth and it isn't cracking or anything. I don't want to touch it in case it's wet. The white bits and the bits that are dry actually, but oh, it's so soft and smooth. Coming on into the kitchen, obviously we are going to get that new door put in at some point, but not yet. I think they started on the kitchen first because the kitchen kind of looks dry already. He said in this room, so basically he's done the pantry room. It is really dark, guys. I think it's just because the plaster is so dark. It's very dark. Shit. Okay, so he hasn't done this wall and he hasn't done these walls just because there was like a lot of wallpaper on there and there was a lot that needs bonding, so he's left this. But that's okay, I guess this can be done at any point. Moving on into the dining room. Oh, this is so exciting. Do you remember the big hole that we had down there? Because we had to chisel it out to put the pipes in for the vertical radiator. Look how smooth that looks. Like, I'm literally obsessed. If you see like, so there are like visual marks like that, but it's all completely smooth and the same here. He said if you like build that out any further to cover it, it wouldn't be even. So he said that's just like sandable and paintable. Yeah, the same here. Doesn't it look so good? Let me know what you think, and obviously all of the ceilings have been done as well. I'm going to end the video here, just a nice little quick update on the plastering. Let me know what you think and take this as your sign to give people a chance. Give the cheap people a chance, because sometimes they're just looking for work or extra work, and not everyone is trying to scam you or get quick money and do a really bad job. Because I would say for the price that he's charged us, he's done such an amazing job. £650. We gave him a £10 tip. I know it's not a lot, but we're going to get him to do the whole of upstairs as well. I mean, it was really cheap, there's no denying that, but it was £650, and then I bought all of the materials, so like all of the bonding and the nails, and we also needed, I don't know if you can see them, but on the corners they put these things called corner beads, or I don't know where he put them, corner beads or angle beads. That all came to £240. So all in total, to get the whole of downstairs plastered, minus the landing, minus the extension right at the back, we have paid just under 1k to get the whole of downstairs plastered, which I think is amazing. Some people in my comments were saying they paid £400 for one wall, and if that was the case, we would have, shit, that's still wet. If that was the case, we would have ended up spending like over £2,000. In fact, someone did quote us like a ridiculous price, and we just took the risk and we went with this guy, not knowing if the price was too good to be true. But yeah, giving him a chance, like, it just paid off in the end, and he's a really nice guy. So let me know if you think we did the right decision in going with this guy. I am literally made up and I'm so happy. I'm gonna take some pictures now and send them to my mum and dad. But yeah, bye.